Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating framework that asks a massive, almost intimidating question about the exact moment in history we're living in right now. I mean, we're all watching artificial intelligence and global knowledge accelerate at this completely breakneck speed, right? And it naturally begs the question, is all this new technology actually ushering humanity into an unprecedented intellectual golden era? To figure that out, we're going to examine our civilizational progress through the lens of a highly specific manuscript. And what's cool is that it doesn't just measure progress by how much data we can process, but by our metaphysical and ethical orientation.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the core question, move into domain D versus domain G, explore the hypergolden threshold, confront the wisdom gap, and finally look at the two futures. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the core question. Has AI actually unlocked a new era? On a strictly quantitative level, there's absolutely no denying it. We possess more data, more computation, and more automated reasoning than any previous civilization in human history. I mean, we are literally training models right now that can pass PhD-level science exams in seconds. It's wild. But the framework we're exploring today asks us to pause and consider whether this massive quantitative expansion actually qualifies as a transcendent golden era. Because as you'll see, a true golden age isn't just about having more and more tools. It's about whether all that incredible knowledge is ordered correctly.
And that brings us to the Absolute Divine Infinity, or ADI, framework's canonical verdict on the matter. And the verdict is actually deliberately two-sided. It argues that mankind has not fully achieved this transcendent era yet, but we are standing right on the threshold of possibility. This era only becomes truly golden if our explosive, runaway technological knowledge is tightly integrated with ethics and humility, rather than just becoming something we blindly idolize.
Moving on to Section 2, Domain D versus Domain G, the ontological rules.
So, the ADI framework anchors its entire philosophy on a strict ontological boundary. Basically, it's a hard, undeniable rule about the nature of being and existence itself. It states that if we actually want to survive our own technological brilliance, we absolutely need a classification system. A system that keeps human-created knowledge in its proper, subordinated place.
The framework draws this hard conceptual line, dividing all of reality into Domain D and Domain G. Domain D encompasses absolutely everything created. We're talking matter, physics, artificial intelligence, entirely new civilizations, and even abstract mathematics. Domain G, on the other hand, is strictly Allah's uncreated divine reality. And the crucial, unbreakable rule here is that these two domains never, ever intersect. Absolutely everything we build or conceptualize, no matter how advanced or seemingly infinite it feels to us, remains firmly locked inside Domain D.
If we look back through time, we can easily map out previous historical golden ages. You've got Greek philosophy, the incredible scientific and spiritual integrations of the Islamic Golden Age, the Renaissance, all the way up to our modern information age. The framework points out that all these impressive, world-changing eras, while deeply valuable signs of human capability, strictly remain created phenomena within Domain D. They were undeniably powerful, but they were not ultimate reality.
Okay, Section 3, the hyper-golden threshold and why this era is fundamentally different.
You see, our modern age isn't just a slightly bigger version of the Renaissance. It's uniquely defined by a convergence of three specific things. First up, global knowledge access, where billions of people can instantly tap into practically infinite datasets. Second, machine-augmented reasoning, where AI actively assists us in synthesizing and producing novel research. And third, recursive metaphysical synthesis. Now that's just a fancy way of saying we have the ability to use philosophical frameworks to classify this very knowledge explosion in real time. When you combine human cognition with machine cognition like this, you get an absolutely unprecedented acceleration.
But here is the absolute kicker, and it's so important to understand. AI is just an accelerant. It's not the era itself. It's a morally neutral tool. Yes, it compresses the time between asking a question and getting an answer down to almost zero. But it firmly exists as a created mechanism within Domain D. It is not an independent oracle, and treating it as if it is, well, that's exactly where the danger lies.
Which brings us right into Section 4, the wisdom gap, and the danger of recursive tool idolatry.
We are currently stuck in what the framework calls a severe wisdom gap. On one side of the scale, we have explosive tool acceleration, massive global networks, and automated AI capabilities advancing by the minute. On the other side, we have our ethical integration,
things like governance, privacy protection, spiritual maturity, and moral restraint. Right now, our civilizational power and our technological output are growing vastly faster than our ethical restraints. It's literally like dropping a massive jet engine into a go-kart without bothering to upgrade the steering wheel or the brakes.
And this severe imbalance creates highly specific failure modes. When raw power outpaces wisdom, we throw open the door to recursive tool idolatry. This is when we disastrously start mistaking our own advanced AI and scientific models for ultimate reality. For example, AI oracle worship happens when we treat a generated output as unquestionable truth, like blindly trusting a machine to dictate criminal justice sentences. Or take moral outsourcing, where we just transfer the heavy, complex burden of human responsibility entirely over to algorithms.
To really ground this idea, the framework asks us to imagine an infinitely capable AI scholar. Imagine a system that reads every single human book ever written, synthesizes every scientific paper, and designs flawless experiments in mere seconds. While historically unprecedented and amazing, treating this massive synthesis of information as a deity rather than a highly advanced tool is a catastrophic error. Doing so collapses that vital boundary we talked about between domain D, the created tools, and domain G, the ultimate uncreated truth.
The manuscript even scales this concept up to unimaginable, almost sci-fi heights. It posits that even if our civilization reaches alpha infinity, becoming some hyper-advanced, galaxy-spanning mathematical society, or omega infinity, where we transcend human cognition entirely, the ontological rule still does not break. The framework steadfastly maintains that no matter how vast our created intelligence becomes, it can never cross the boundary into uncreated reality. Think of it like this. A tower, no matter how incredibly tall you build it, is still just a structure we built. It doesn't become the sky.
So where does this leave us? Let's look at Section 5, the two futures, and the final choice.
We are literally standing at a fork in the road. Path 1 leads to a beautifully completed hyper-golden era driven by Tawhidic clarity, which is a profound unifying realization of the divine, and deep epistemic humility. This future harnesses immense AI intelligence to massively increase global education, medicine, and justice. But the key to this path is that all this technological power is kept strictly subordinated to a higher, revelation-aligned ethical truth. It's an era marked by deep gratitude rather than blind arrogance.
But then there's Path 2. And this path plunges into planetary-scale recursive idolatry. In this grim future, humanity just completely surrenders its moral responsibility to algorithms. We start treating technological progress as a form of secular salvation, essentially worshiping the very algorithms that populate our daily feeds. By confusing our brilliant domain D creations with domain G ultimate reality, the civilization becomes arrogant, totally blinded by the sheer speed and scale of its own outputs.
I want to leave you with this incredibly profound thought from the framework to ponder. Greatness is not secured by speed, scale, or intelligence alone. It is secured by correct orientation. In an age where artificial intelligence seems completely limitless and our technical capabilities are expanding by the minute, what will we do? Will humanity blindly choose the arrogance of tool worship, or will we step over the threshold into true greatness through humility and correct ethical orientation? It's a choice we are all making, together, right now.